Hi, welcome to the Spiritual Connection Show. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I'm a transformation coach, I'm an energy healer, I'm a shamanic practitioner, and I'm the spiritual head of Transformation Center CT, which is located in Westport, Connecticut. So at the center, we do a variety of workshops, trainings, we have retreats sometimes. We also have a monthly program where we have satsang once a month, which is Sanskrit for in the company of the truth. And it's just an hour to get together, just kind of be with yourself. We do meditation, we do chanting. It's just a really very relaxing, restorative type of evening. We also have monthly shamanic clinics now, and that's the second Tuesday of each month. And we hold those as a community service. So this is an opportunity for you to find out more about shamanism if you're curious. You can sign up in advance for a half-hour session with one of our certified practitioners. So we'd love to see you there. We also have drumming and journeying once a month, and that's where you can get a little more experience with shamanism and actually learn how to go on a journey yourself and experience some medicine drumming from a Halia running deer. So that's another opportunity. One other thing we've recently started, it's called Spiritual Curriculum for Living. And we have this once a month on a Sunday afternoon. The schedule does vary, so just check our website, which is transformationcenterct.com. So thanks for being here this evening. You know, the Spiritual Connection Show is all about connection. What a surprise, right? So it's about connecting with each other and also allowing you to connect more fully with your own spiritual self. And one way to do that is by learning from other people. You know, I have a different guest each week, and you know, you can hear about their spiritual journey, what they're about and what they're doing. They all offer different services that you could benefit from. So thanks again for being here. My guest tonight is Jessica Scofield-Chichester.
Hi, Katie. Jessica. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Here.
My honor.
Great. So I'm just going to do a little intro on you because our audience doesn't know you. So, you know, Jessica is the owner of Haute Healing Oasis in Stamford. Yeah. So this is a wellness spa. They have anti-aging, weight loss, and it's a pain center, and it's down in Harbor Point. Yeah, it sounds awesome. I can't wait to visit it myself. So Jessica has always been into health and healing. Yeah, we're going to hear more about that shortly. But the amazing thing is she's also a full-time public school teacher still, and has been for 15 years. And this is also amazing. She's a Hall of Fame weightlifter and is still ranked one of the top strongest women in the world. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
I know how to pick them, right? I told my husband about this. He's like, wow. Yep. He was impressed.
Cool.
So we're going to learn all about that. But the first thing, as you know, I always ask my guests, can you tell us a little bit about your spiritual journey, maybe how you got started, anything you want to share?
Yeah. So I grew up in a really spiritual family. In some senses they were religious, but in other senses it was more spiritual. And so I was always in an environment where it was actually, it was a really positive thing to look into yourself and, you know, formulate a relationship with God or the universe or whatever other, you know, word that somebody wants to use to describe it, and to kind of go on that quest. So as a young child, I was really connected. I remember it was like 3 or 4 years old when my grandfather passed away, and I was getting messages from him, and I was seeing him in the environment, and my grandmother was really open to this. She would have, you know, and she would ask me about it, and sometimes she would have experiences, and we would talk about it. Awesome. And you know, the woman who lived next door to her interpreted dreams, and so did my grandmother, was a big dreamer, and a lot of dreams came into fruition. So, you know, I would always sit with them at the table while they were, you know, interpreting dreams, or There were different prayer circles and prayer groups in my family. So I was always brought to church, but it was not like really a traditional setting, or if it was, I was taught to like take my relationship with God to a different level. It was really encouraged. So I was just always collectively in an environment where that was, it was healthy for me and safe for me to do that.
That's wonderful. What a great opportunity.
It was. And then, as I was growing up, I would get messages myself. Like, I never felt that even at a young age, I never felt that I wanted to have my own children, but I felt like there were enough kids in the world to help. So really my role models became those of Mother Teresa and Joan of Arc, who are both highly spiritual women and, had different divine intervention come in different ways. Joan of Arc heard those messages and she went to war, for the greater good. And Mother Teresa did so in her same sense. And, I felt my grandmother was a version of that because she was brought up in war and was a nun, or wanted to be a nun at one point. Okay. At a very young age, I knew I wasn't going to have kids, and I really wanted to do a lot of missions work. So probably from the age it was of like 10 years old, I was volunteering to work with some kids in the project. So I would volunteer my weekends, and I really believe that helping people is spiritual. Absolutely. There's, you have to be good on the inside, or at least want to reach for more. And by helping people, it just helps. It really fills my cup to help other people get filled as well. So I really enjoyed doing those sorts of things when I was young. I had several different dreams in my life about different things, but one of which I just knew I was going to go to Africa. I knew I was going to go to Africa before I ever went to Italy and see my roots. And I had a dream, and I had an opportunity present itself. And so when I was 18, 19 years old, I went to Africa to help open up a medical clinic and a school. And so then actually this all goes back to really backtracking. When I was 14 years old, I had a dream, and I left my parents and I went to Russia for a while, and I helped open up an orphanage. And the second time I went, we helped open up a school. So I just always loved helping people. I loved always helping the forgotten. My parents were really into helping the forgotten as well. And they both independently would volunteer their times on the weekend my mother would go to the women's prison, my father would go to the men's prison. Together they would go to the youth prison. Sometimes I would go with them when I was old enough, over 18, to the youth prison or the women's prison, and just have a sense. And just this really, my spiritual journey is really that need to help people. And in the middle of all of that, I was 10 years old. I just had an experience, and I said, let me just forget meat. And so I was plant-based from the ages of 10 to 20. And on this level, my spiritual journey, kind of disassociated from my family a little bit, and I went and I explored, what else in terms of spirituality does the world have to offer? Certain religions and such, there are certain rules, but is God a God of these rules that we live by? So it was a funny time. I helped open up a health food store. I was in charge of the vitamins. I was helping people on their journey with essential oils and vitamins and plant-based living during a time that it wasn't big. It was just when these companies started coming out. Everything was just, real grassroots. That's awesome. And I didn't think it was a big deal. When you're 16, it's not a big deal. But now looking back, I was in the forefront of that. And it helped me take my own health to the next level. And so then I started getting into, during that whole time, Kundalini yoga, and I became a certified Kundalini practitioner by the time I was 18. And I really just used it for myself. And I'll tell you why. Because even though I was really spiritual when I was young and highly connected, and I could feel and see things all the time, almost it was strenuous. that when I became a teenager, and I still had this like deep, heavy calling on my life. You know, when you're a teenager, a lot of times you struggle with, how am I going to fit in? You know, where is my place in this world? Do I have to abandon who I maybe think I am, or who I was brought up, or these are ways of people that don't follow. So I really went on a deep dive exploration in my teens, and I read basically all the different scriptures of various religions and various texts to see, you know, what is like on this really quest for this spiritual journey, this spiritual connection. And I was always really into writing too, and so that was my way of connecting as well, and of always just being a seeker. So I think the spiritual journey is still in the same spirit I had as a child, where it's still a seeker. But at one point, you know, I just abandoned that way. I wanted to so badly, and I felt just so disconnected from anybody. Because, you know, when you have a quest or a mission and it's on your heart, or something that you have a deep calling, it can be lonely. Yeah. They call it whatever, the dark night of the soul. Yeah. It can be lonely, you know, and I learned about those things when I was older, but I didn't know about those things when I was younger. No. And so I got into a wrong way with the wrong people when I was in high school. I almost failed out of high school. I was trying different things I shouldn't have, and I was, you know, had eating disorders, and I was cutting school, and my grades were so bad I couldn't even get into college. And at that point, my parents found out what was going on and intervened in my life in a different way. And my dad, who was a semi-pro football player for the Patriots and all that fun stuff, said, you know what? Come with me to the gym. So then I started going with him to the gym, and it was something really new and refreshing to me. Yeah. And people can think, you know, how could working out, how could lifting weights be spiritual? And I beg to say, how could it not be? Yeah. You know, our spirit comes with us, our soul, it's in within us in everything that we do. Sure. So it was great because I got those little tricks that I learned from Kundalini, you know, and I got those, you know, when you pray, you get into a flow. Yeah. You know, you access different spaces, and you access some dark spaces in order to get yourself to a place where you can venture off and really say, I don't want to hold any boundaries in my life. I want to go wherever God wants me to go. And I'm just a vessel. Right. I'm just a vessel for the universe. And I know all it wants for me is the best. So I just want to be, you know, fully submissive to that. Wow. And so I think that's really what helped me get to the next stages of my adulthood and my career with teaching and weightlifting.
That is an amazing journey, Jessica. I mean, it's really, it's quite profound. You know, yeah. you were precocious, you got started early. You went, you know, kind of a winding path, and yeah. you know, and now you've totally found yourself.
I wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for my connection to God and the universe. You know, yeah. I'm a product of a lot of trauma. Yeah. Went through a lot of trauma from the time I was a child, you know, into my early adulthood, and I could have easily used any of those traumas, as we all can, as an excuse to not get myself to the next level.
Yeah. But instead it made you stronger and more clear, because me, talking with you, you have a lot of clarity.
Oh, well, thanks.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, because you're still very young in my book.
Yeah.
And you've accomplished a lot, and you know what you're about, and you know who you are, which is just that's the most important thing, you know, that we try to learn, and you've learned a lot.
You know, and who we are is always evolving, right? Yeah. But I really believe that the essence of who we are,
right, our core.
Yeah. It's just there. It was rooted in. So so I ended up starting at community college, And I used that focus from my Kundalini practice and my prayer practice and my writing practice when I was a kid to just go, you know what, to draw the line in my sand, in the sand for myself and say, I'm doing this. So I went from, you know, failing every class in high school to starting at NCC, Norwalk Community College, and I said I was going to get straight A's, and I did. I had 3 jobs. I was paying for school. I was tutoring. I was working for a woman who had cerebral palsy for 10 years. I helped teach her how to walk, how to unload the dishes from the dishwasher, how to make lunch. I cleaned her when her parents went away. This sort of thing made me go into my weightlifting as well. Because I said I had every excuse in my own world, in my own trauma, why to give up, I should give up. Here's somebody who has really every reason to give up, and she doesn't. Why? What's the difference in our own, where it starts inside, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was almost, it sounded like, you know, you were your own role model in a way. Like you depended on yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you did have some help, it sounds like, through your dad, and he got you into the gym. Is that what kind of started the weightlifting, interest in weightlifting?
Yeah, that's, I guess so. Yeah, when I went to I wanted to get fit, and then I was doing too many things that I shouldn't, and I was gaining weight, and I was totally depressed, and you know, everything was off.
Right.
And so my dad brought me to the gym, and I started feeling like I really liked the structure.
Yeah, it's something we can control, you know, like when we're working out and we're
felt
feeling
powerful.
Healthy, and yes, exactly.
I felt powerful, you know, as a woman going through trauma, you go through stages where you don't feel powerful. And so all of a sudden I started to feel powerful, and then I started understanding I could alter my not only physical appearance, but my mental construct, and how these things work together.
Yes, because it's all tied together.
It's all tied together.
Yeah.
So it was like, how do I get myself to the next level? And it was after NCC, then I transferred to Southern, and that's when I went to Africa, and I went on that journey. And it was great because while I was at Southern, I was able to work and save money for my trip to Africa. And I came back from my trip, and I felt, again, totally lonely and lost of, you know, God, what's my purpose of being in this school? I know you wanted to keep me here to go to Africa, but now that I'm back, I have no place. Give me a place. And so all of a sudden I was in the gym one day, and this guy came up to me and was like, well, you're really strong. So they tested my strength next to the football team, and they saw that I was stronger than about 90% of the football team, pound for pound.
Wow.
So then they had an executive decision with the athletics department that I would start training, being the strength and conditioning coach for the football team.
Oh,
which
wow.
This journey really helped me get over a lot of fears that I had of men and trauma that I went through.
Oh, so that's perfect.
And
it's just amazing how, I mean, there's no accident there. No.
And because I was scared every day. Every day that I was going in, I was scared. I was always scared, but I kept pushing myself because I knew it was for my ultimate good. And when I did, then I went into track, and I threw the hammer, and I got the chance to be with 2 major Olympians in training, 2 females, gave me a totally different perspective. So I did so well. They invited me to the Olympic trials. And after that, I hurt my back, and my shoulders were all torn up. They said I was never going to squat again. And one of the healers at Haute Healing Oasis, he's been my practitioner for about 17 years. I think because of me, he ended up getting into something called soma therapy, which is, it's a doctor of massage. It's neurological rewiring. He rewired my body. They said I was never going to squat again, and that's when I broke world records to squat.
Wow.
So I would literally defied gravity, but I really haven't done it for me. I really feel like it's really for humanity. It's for the voice of every person and for every woman who said that they can't, and there's every reason why not to. You know, I mean, I went from failing high school to getting awarded 2 free master's degrees and a free doctorate degree. How does that happen?
You mean like an honorary degree, or you?
No.
Or you
So
went
I
through
got,
the program?
No, I went through the program.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, not for the doctorate degree. I declined it because I'm too busy and I didn't feel the impulse.
Okay.
You know, I don't need something just checked off on paper. I need it to be for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, and it's amazing. Those platforms, my second degree gave me the platform, second master's degree gave me the platform to open Haute Healing Oasis.
Oh, so what's the master's degree in?
So it's in something called TESOL, which is teaching English to speakers of other languages.
Yes, yep.
So I have my international teaching certification.
I see.
But I had a concentration, which you guys will understand here, which is really a spiritual journey in a sense. So my concentration was in how to intrinsically lower student stress level while increasing their motivation through the use of holistic modalities in the classroom.
Oh my gosh, that is so perfect. That is awesome.
Yeah. And there I
Yeah.
did a deep dive for
I love that.
really before this started, really for decades,
Yeah.
on light therapy, sound therapy, aromatherapy, meditation, and pet therapy. So I did all of these things in my classroom. I'm a reading specialist.
So you're still using all these
Yes.
modalities?
And so, yeah, so when the students come in every day, it's a different color environment. There's trees around, there's sound therapy, aromatherapy. They get to learn a little bit about it. They do a meditation right before class starts.
I want to come to your class.
I know. Some days my dog is there. You know, we do deep dives into learning how to access your intuition. And I have to incorporate a lot of, I get to incorporate a lot of informational text. So they're literally learning the science while they're experiencing these things, and just relaxing.
Yes. Oh.
And so this is the premise of Haute Healing Oasis. So,
Okay, so that's the connection. So you started doing these things in the classroom, and you know how effective they are.
Yeah.
With kids, but with everybody, right?
Yeah.
And so then you translated that into your business?
Yeah, so Peter, my husband,
Okay.
he's incredibly spiritual, doesn't even know it all yet, but he's prophetic. And so after work one day, he drove by and he said, I saw this spot and I had this idea that comes to me. He has a lot of $1 million ideas, you know, and this idea came to him. And so we walked into the space and it was just like a ping pong, him and I. And I just literally had the vision laid out of, we're gonna have 6 infrared sauna rooms. And you know, infrared saunas are totally healing. Like being in one for 30 minutes has more proven medical benefits than if you sat in a traditional sauna for over 4 hours. They can't match it. So we have 6 different private infrared sauna rooms, and each room has a different healing environment that hits on a different chakra, with the decor and the light therapy, the sound therapy, and the aromatherapy. Now you could just go into a room and every time you come in you can have a different experience. But if you want to customize your experience, we teach you how to do that. We have resources in the room. We have apps that you can download on our website. So for those people who want to take it to another level, that information is there. You can go in with somebody, go in on your own. At Haute, we also have something called Bemer, which is the only thing in the world that can do what it does. It increases your oxygen in your blood flow by 30%, helping you to eliminate inflammation and discomfort. So we use it as an amplifier, right? People do a Bemer session. Sometimes they do something called a hydro massage, which I'll get to. And then they go in the infrared and it just magnifies the healing benefits of the infrared. So
That's fabulous that you
Yeah.
have all that in one place.
it is, yep. The hydro massage is a massage bed that you lay on fully clothed. 20 minutes is equal to a 60-minute deep tissue. We teach you how to use that. And then we have Lou, one of that practitioner who was mine, and some other practitioners. They're there doing massage. And what else? We have something called Lumina, which is a holistic version of liposuction with no side effects or downtime. And you see the results the same day. It's also incredibly good for arthritis, seasonal depression, neuropathy, hair growth.
How
We have some
does
really
it
cool
work?
things.
All of that.
Yeah, it uses certain frequencies. Everything we do is frequency based. You know, we're energy, we're frequency beings, and so the technology that we use seems very soft and subtle, but it is mighty.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
So this is all very cutting edge.
Cutting edge to us, but not to the world. You know, this concept collectively, when all these devices are brought in together into this sort of space, yes, it's very cutting edge. But when you look at infrared sauna use,
Been around for a long time.
yeah, over 40 years. And it's same with Bemer, you know, been around for decades. And the great thing about all of these devices that we have and different strategies that we use is you don't just have one jurisdiction of professionals saying, this is what's good for you. You don't have just, you know, the United States just saying, this is what's good for you, and these are what our doctors say. No, we have an international platform of doctors in various places, all coming back, saying the same beneficial things about all these technologies.
Yeah.
So we just want a safe space for all people, for them to embark on their healing journey, quest, for body, mind, and spirit. It's all really, everything is hit within that hour at Haute.
Yeah.
So it's incredible.
Right. So you're teaching during the day, but then you have somebody else there while you're not there, obviously,
Yes.
to help people and
Yes.
manage everything.
Yep.
Okay. And
So-
so how would you suggest, like if somebody, what would the first thing, if they're just curious, what would you recommend to kind of, as an introduction to try?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I would recommend, and you can find it on our website too, Haute, Haute, healingoasis.com, and you'll see the Express Relaxation Package, which is you get to try 3 treatments in a shower, and you'll be out in under an hour. So you get an 8-minute Bemer, a 10-minute hydro massage, and a 30-minute infrared, and a luxurious shower, and you're out within an hour.
Okay.
And that way you can feel the way that all these devices synergistically work together.
So even for that short a time,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, you just need 8 minutes for Bemer to increase your oxygen and blood flow by up to 30%. Nothing in the world can do that. When we exercise, it's only 8 to 10%. You know, the hydro massage is good at stimulating your lymphatic system, your blood flow. Again, if you were on it for 20 minutes, it's equal to a 60-minute deep tissue.
Okay.
So if you're on it for 10, it's like getting a 30-minute
hour, yeah.
massage.
Yeah.
And then your body is primed and your cells are ready for real submission and submersion into the infrared and these healing environments. So it's not just the infrared sauna, it's also the healing environment of your room.
Huh. Well, that sounds like something I'll have to come try.
Yeah, you would love it. You would love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good place to start.
It is a good place
And
to
then that's
start.
just for everyone. You don't have to have a specific problem or issue. It's just
No, but if you
it's
let
more
us
like
know.
health benefits for everybody.
Exactly, because you have to imagine, like the Bemer is the only thing in the world that can improve your circulatory and your microcirculatory system, so your blood flow. And when you look at disease states, start at a microcirculatory level. So whether you have anything chronic, or you just came from the dentist, or
an injury, sports
injury or whatever,
yeah,
it's helping that. Now there's different areas that we can target even within those 8 minutes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the signal stays in your body for 24 plus hours after, even for some people.
Sounds
So
great.
like for me, I don't know if I would have been around if it wasn't for these services. Personally, I didn't just wake up one day and want to open a business.
So you took advantage of all of that. That really helped you.
Yeah, so what happened
We're gonna
was...
have to wrap up.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my
See,
gosh,
I feel like we
already?
just started. I know, it's amazing.
So one last thing. I was deathly allergic to eggs and had several herniations in my body. Couldn't smell, couldn't taste until using some of these devices.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah.
Well, this is exciting. Thank
Yeah,
you so much
thank
for being here,
you.
Jessica.
Thank you so
and
much.
Thank you to our audience
Thank
for
you.
being here, Spiritual Connection. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn, signing off. See you next time. Thanks for coming.